Podcasts for PRI's The World are made possible in part by the generous support of our donors. Visit pri.org/give and ensure that outstanding global programming continues. After all, it's your world. Jump in. When Typhoon Haiyan smashed into the Philippine city of Tacloban last month, almost every form of communication with the outside world was knocked out. But there was one that was still working. The world's Leo Hornak tells us about the shortwave radio network that helps survivors get the word out to their loved ones.
0947.
That was a recording of some of the very first voices out of Tacloban after the disaster. And they were made possible by a network of amateur radio enthusiasts across the Philippines.
My name is Ramon Anquilan. I am the Vice Chief Operating Officer of the Philippine Amateur Radio Association.
What is the number of Mario?
Here's what we did. In the Philippines, we implement a system called Ham Emergency Radio Operations. So it's the acronym is a little, highfalutin. We call it HERO.
Raymond's HERO network of amateur radio geeks and enthusiasts worked more or less when everything else had failed. You see, with a shortwave radio kit, you don't need that much to start broadcasting.
With just a simple piece of wire, we hook up the radio, and using a 12-volt battery from the car, we're up on air.
Raymond is based in Manila, but when the typhoon hit, he was listening out for one person in particular, his friend Nathan Ian Miguel, a ham radio enthusiast in Tacloban. Here he is on Skype.
When the wind and rain abated, I immediately went outside with my radio set.
The most important thing that we heard was when Nathan finally came up right after the storm passed Tacloban, he transmitted saying that the U5A okay on frequency, and we said, "Whoa, Nathan is here." We're so happy.
Nathan and other volunteers made their way through the wreckage to Tacloban City Hall, where they set up a makeshift radio station.
Because there was no communication going out of Tacloban or available, a long queue formed at the side of the station of Nathan. It was more than 100 people queuing. We were handling something like 200 plus messages a day.
Yeah, that's correct. It's not a big deal, actually. It's not a big deal. What is important is that we're able to send all those messages and inform their relatives and friends that they're okay.
7155. Mama and Papa and family, okay. Mama and Papa and family are okay. Roger, sir. Roger.
But not all of the messages were good news.
There are also messages that really drained us. Messages that somebody died.
What was the first message you sent from the shortwave station? Do you remember?
The first message that we sent when we went on air, please send body bags. Please send body bags.
For the HERO team in Manila, passing on messages to relatives carried its own responsibilities.
There's that uncertainty. For example, the message would continue and said, "But we don't have our house anymore." How can you handle that kind of message? You just tell it to the other guy as normal tone as possible, but you also try to control the swell of emotion inside you.
Some people have said that this kind of action is the action of a hero. Do you regard yourself as a hero?
Of course not. Then what I did is just only a matter of procedure. We put up our antenna system, fire up our radio, then do the thing.
When everything else is not available, then we're the only ones left. Amateur radio.
For The World, I'm Leo Hornak.